What is up, everybody? It is I, the saltiest gaijin. Hoofda, it is finally time, chat. We're finally going to play some Explorer. Oh boy, I've actually been really looking forward to this. So, let's go ahead and let's check out the daily deals real quick. So, as we talked about in the Snapshot on Sunday, if you want to check that out, they can type !YouTube in the chat, and a link to the YouTube channel to see that. You know, we went over what we'd be playing this week, and tonight, Tuesday, and this Thursday as well, because we'll be taking a week off the budget battle, we're going to be playing Explorer. So tonight I have two decks we're going to play. It's these first two right here. So we have a Jund Obnixilis deck, which this is just a kind of a rudimentary start to what I feel like this deck would look like in this format. There's definitely some things I might want to change down the road, but I kind of like what this looks like. Got some removal for matchups like Winota, got big recursive threats, and we can just beat down, as well as Obnixilis fits very naturally into that. There's a few things in the 3-drop slot that could probably be a little different, but we're going to see how it feels. We're actually going to play these on the ladder tonight, and then on Thursday we're actually going to play through some constructed events. And then we have this. This is an Omnath Fires of Invention deck. Really like, this is a very powerful, these are two very powerful cards. As indicated by the fact that they were nerfed in Historic. So it's a very, if that says anything, it says to play them together. So this is a, 4-color fires. We get some sweepers. We get a wish package out of our board. We get to play Urban Utopia, the abundant growth of the format. So we will probably try this out as well. So we're going to go probably with 3 matches of both and then see how we feel, and then we'll circle back as it were. All right. Ranked Explorer, best of 3. We'll start with Yorion Fires. I feel like this is a deck we'll get a really good opinion of very quickly. I did do a little bit of playtesting on Sunday, and just to sort of get a feel for what's showing up on the ladder a lot of Winota in my experience. Okay, this is a anger the gods into a Fires of Invention, so our Jetmir Garden. Okay, that's aggressive, but respectable. So if our opponent doesn't commit any more to the board, we'll just put Yorion in her hand. I'm assuming this is that Angel combo deck where you play the book. Our next turn is just going to be Fires, Yorion. Oh, Containment. They are all about fighting Winota. Book of Exalted Deeds. Okay. Luckily, no Mutavault in this format, which is a right on time with the Urban Utopia, but go ahead and play a 0-mana Omnath. Our opponent is all in on not losing to oh, they got the combo. Bit far away from actually doing the thing there, but all right, let's take a peek at our sideboard. Got Shatter, Seiju, our own Grafdigger's Cage. Probably want to save. Probably wait a few turns before we really have to do anything with this, because this can't target anything quite yet anyway. A few ways we can go about this. I think we'll start with an attack for 4. See what our opponent does. They have like another Containment Priest, and they want to they just have the Wandering Emperor. Sure. Yep. Exile Omnath, that's fine. Just got another one anyway. For that fifth land. No fifth land for us here. Still looking for land number 5. That's land number 5, and I'm willing to play it. Gains us up to 4. Luckily, next turn, if they like put some bodies on the battlefield, we'll just anger the gods and clean everything up anyway. This is fine. Ketria Triome. It's not a way for us to play 3 lands, is there? Well, that is the weakness of Omnath, is that we're not exactly able to just like play a million lands like we would in other versions of the deck. Let's start with an Anger of the Gods. Curious to see what they do. Another one. Sure. Sure. Well, let me keep the Omnath. It's an interesting choice. So let me read Buseju real quick. Okay, so we don't even care if they actually execute this combo, thinking about it. Because, like, we can just destroy Faceless Haven. So I think here what we're going to do is just cast Yorion from our hand and exile 1, 2. We can get rid of this Fires as well. And then we can cast Gold. That's the power of Yorion and Fires of Invention. It's why they ended up banning a bunch of cards. Alright, here I'm going to grab a Fabled Passage. It'll enable us to trigger Omnath a couple of times. You know what's crazy? That was heads up for our opponent. Like, they could have stopped us from doing that. So, default mode is we will cast Ruinous Ultimatum next turn. It's probably like a Doomscar, I would guess. I'll go ahead and just cast, Fey of Wishes. We will grab Ruinous Ultimatum. Cast Ruinous Ultimatum. Trigger. Go ahead and get a bunch of damage in. Cast the turn. I'm gonna do this just because gaining 4 life is relevant. Like, their only way of winning is beating us down, so gaining life just while we have the opportunity is not a bad idea. Yeah, fine. Sure. So I can cast this, pitch these, cast this, and then I'm able to wish anyway. Probably a little too much. We'll go on the island. Play that. We're going to play Yorion from our hand. You're seeing just the absolute power of Yorion here. Go ahead and cast the Fae. Cast the Growth Spiral as well. There's really no reason, because this costs 2 mana. Yeah, we might as well just cast these. Anger of the Gods, sure. Ooh, that tapped us off a blue mana. Oops. Oh, never mind. Ignore me, Chad. We're gonna have blue mana anyway. Also gonna draw a bunch of cards. And now we can bounce the Fae. We can get Bousseiju back. It's not like, even if they execute this combo, it's not really a big deal. Yeah, you got it. Because this doesn't gain indestructible, right? Yeah, it doesn't. Like, this is why this combo isn't very good. Well, the extra excess fires of inventions do nothing. Alright. It's my turn already? Oh, damn, that went fast. I'm going to get in for 4 anyway. That's going to happen. Go ahead and just grab Bousseiju. I'm not really sure why they were banking on that, but go ahead and just play the Fae down. Here we can discard the 2 lands. I doubt we're going to even need to channel Soken's-On, so. Brutal stuff. Okay, well, it seems like Fry is probably something we can bring in. Negate is not something we're going to bring in a lot to begin with. It is a little bit of a nombo with Fires of Invention, kind of naturally, but I am willing to cut the. I think maybe we keep some of the shatters then. I keep like 2 of the shatters. I'm only bringing the 2 Fries. I'll leave one available to my wish. And what else would we cut? I suppose this is still available to my wish as well. I'll leave 1 in the main deck. But I feel like having something like cheap in my hand and available to cast is probably not a bad idea. This feels like an exceptionally bad. Like, it feels like our opponent came ready to play like against Winota decks and is just getting horrendously punished by playing against something that is not a Winota deck. Ooh, this is a tough choice actually. I think we keep Golos, but I think it's Kenrith. Be happy to submit a Sphinx of Foresight. Get to scry 3. It's a big scry. Opponent doesn't have anything. Omnath can go. Cavalier can go. I think even Anger can go. Yeah, just all 3. Just all to the bottom. Jetmir's Garden. That gets me more colors. I imagine our turn 2 is just to play Ralgren Triumph. That's fine. This stuff, don't scry. Oh, come on, opponent. This game is not about. So you scry with this card when you're under pressure and like you need to that gaining life is going to be particularly important. You don't scry when you're going against a deck that's going to go over the top of you regardless of what you do. Yeah. This feels like they're going to take Golos or slash Cavalier. No, they're just going to take the removal spell. That's not correct, I don't think. Tap to pass the turn. Like, we're not really under any pressure. Again, they should not be doing this. So when you're playing against a deck that's going to go, if the deck's trying to go under you and you're playing Maze Might Tome, that's when you're aggressive with your scrying. If the deck's going over you and you're playing a Maze Might Tome, you should be very considerate and like try to gain as many cards out of it as you can. Yeah, I'm going to just put those away. Omnath isn't bad. Would like a land that isn't Fabled Passage, because I'd like to use the on-math plus the passage. But it's not looking like I'm going to get much of a choice. It says first strike. Yeah, I really don't have a reason to not just fry that. I can just wait till their turn. That way they can't, like... I suppose there's nothing they can re-equip Maul to begin with, so... So I've got green, red, white. I think I'm going to grab Mountain with this. So it's looking very much like I'm going to just have to hard cast a Cavalier of Flames. Yeah, we can go to their turn. It's not really a huge difference in waiting versus not. It's instant speed. I mean, I can't imagine they have a way. I was like, there's no way they're playing like God's Willing. There you go. Faceless Havens and a Ganjo. Just play an Omen of the Sea. We had a land drop here, which we did. Put that away. Draw the forest. We'll just grab Yorion. No real incentive to like play into a Doomscar here. That's fine. Hit me for 4. More than enough means to recoup the life loss we're experiencing. They do get to draw a card with Maze Mind Tome, which is a big deal. Okay, it's not bad. We'll play... How do we want to play this? Yeah, we'll play Fires. I think we'll play Fires. We'll play Yorion. Let him Doomscar me. But I'm going to get to Flicker 2 Omen of the Seas. Going up to 7 cards. Ideally, we're going to find a Fabled Passage. Or just like some lands in general wouldn't be bad. Alright, first one. Don't need that. Actually, I think I might want that. But I don't want that one. Looking for a different land. Could afford to be a little greedy. Can Rift, does this kill them? Can this kill them, I guess, is the better question. Maybe. So, maybe, but... Okay, so we're going to beta. I can almost guarantee we're going down to 7 here. Well, this represents gaining 4 life and getting a Kenrith down with 6 lands to gain even more life beyond that. So I think I'm willing to just take... Like, I'll let them have the Doomscar. I'll let them crack me for 4. I think we're going to easily recoup this. I mean, even if they have, like, say, another Doomscar, like, we're going to be building up enough advantage that I think we're going to be just fine. We'll start with Omnath. Okay. Trigger. Okay, that was enough for them. That's fair. Because this represented gaining 10 life up to 19 and being able to block Faceless Haven. So it makes sense that our opponent just kind of gave in there. Makes sense to me. Alright. Definitely the kind of deck Yorion Fires is going to prey on, to say the least. Just going so much bigger than what that person was doing. Like those types of monocolored mid-range decks just aren't. I don't think they're the right way of going about answering Winota to begin with. But you know, it's sort of it's one of those things where I get why people are trying it. I just, I don't think. I just think they're making bad decisions is all. The Ralgren Triome tapped here. Definitely a slow start, but we have a turn 4 Shatter on the draw. That might be a little slow. Looks like we're up against probably Winota. That's a good card against us. Holy jeez. That was a good draw. So hopefully we're not just like immediately dead or something. Legion War Boss. Okay. Yeah, I'll just do my Growth Spiral and get it over with. Put the World Tree down. This play Shatter. They're still going to be able to get in for at least 3, which kind of sucks, but can't win them all, I guess. 6 or more, it gets to make everything mount. Okay, well it's kind of a relief, but okay, well that tells me they just don't have Winota, which is a good thing. That makes me quite excited, actually. Anger the guy. Anger's a good one. Let's think here. I play this plus Golos. That gives me blockers. Play this. Well, I suppose it's correct just to go like Anger, sweep the table. Yeah. Yeah, you got it, brother. Clean up these other attackers. Play a Golos. Probably hold up Soken's. No. What do we want here? Probably just a Tri-land, I guess. Actually, no, because they can. We'll grab a Fabled Passage, actually. Pick up Yorion and pass. The idea here being that if I'm getting to the point where these I tap for any color of mana, which is super nice. So worst case scenario is they Winota here and they got a 6 power guy coming at her face. That's like I would say the floor of this next turn. This is 7 mana. Okay, that was enough. That makes sense. If they didn't hit Winota there, they weren't winning because we had them very dead to rights. So this is another matchup where I really like Fry. I think this matchup I actually want to bring in all my copies of it. I am gonna leave my Shatters in. I think here we just kind of trim. I trim like a copy of Cavalier, a copy of Omen. We gotta leave the Utopia fixes our mana, so it is one thing that's like deceptive about it, is it's not the same as the Omen of the Sea. It is very much it offers more than the Omen of the Sea. Where the Omen does dig is deeper. I would say that the Urban Utopia enables us to play the double-colored spells on turn 3, like Anger the Gods, as well as curving into the Shatter the Sky in order to stabilize against these aggressive decks. But that felt like about how a lot of these games are going to go. Okay, well, I mean, these are the hands we're going to keep, so. Got a Fires, we got a Fae, we got 2 Sweepers to really send home that we're not here to get hit. Best draw would be like a green land to play on 1. Well, you ask and you shall receive. So now we can go Mountain, Urban Utopia, the Mountain. Well, now we can. Now we just go Spara's Headquarters. That's fine. That's pretty beatable when it's all said and done. I'm just going to put that on the mountain. Oh, actually, I think that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Can you guess what my mistake was, chat? If you guessed I put the color fixing thing on our other red source for our double red spill, you would guess correctly. I don't believe we have another mountain. This can go and grab a white source. Right. Yeah, just going on there. Worst case again is a Winota off the top here. If they don't have a Winota, I'm feeling that's fine. It's like 4, go to 11. Any land here is good. Go to 9. Yeah, go to 9. Just cast Anger of the Gods. Just clean up the battlefield. Next turn, we just go fires. Let's think here. So this makes more drama. Yeah, we'll just go fires. I think here we can actually just go like Sphinx. Right? Let's think. This can't. If they have a Winota, this could be dicey, but yeah, I'm willing just to shatter the sky. We got another Fey to grab another sweeper if we really have to, so not too worried, but Sky Queen, that's fine. That's a-okay. Because I got another one. Let's play a Sphinx. Pass the turn. They can still have a Winota off the top, so we're not like out of the water here. I don't know why they shocked. Oh, they just have like in their hand a Total Arson Master. Makes sense. U-side. What is happening? I'll scribe one. I'm down for a land here. 7th land is good. Give me my sideboard. How much mana do you cost? 7? Yep. Cast granted. Granted. Ruinous Ultimatum. Ruinous Ultimatum our opponent here. Yep, makes sense. So it feels like the answer to these Winota decks is to just beat them over the head with value, which is starting to look like the answer to these decks in Pioneer as well. Thinking about it, because like the metagame in Pioneer has also been changing up a bit, and it's kind of gone towards where you could just sort of just go above them so hard that that you can just like deal with whatever they're doing anyway. Excuse me. Open our new Capenna pack. We're already 64% of the way through the set. Toulouse, Clever Conductor. All right. Play one more. Definitely liking the. I think the Wish board could use some work, but I think the main deck seems fine. It takes a lot of games to really feel the differences in cards, but I feel like our sideboard's really well set up. Because like the other thing we could do that you haven't gotten to see yet is like the follow up to shut people out is to like just wish for the turns spells, and just use those to sort of close the game out. It's a little bit of a slow hand, but I think I keep this. We got fires into both a proactive 4-drop as well as a reactive 4-drop is what we want. Okay. Well, that was good. We drew something to like play. Play a Gonjo. Pass the turn. No idea what they're playing though. Snow-covered island, double snow-covered island. Just like, okay, it's like mono blue, like tempo. You got spell pierce for me? I do not. Looking for lands. Ask and you shall receive, I guess. I'll take a Fabled Passage. Take another land off the top too. Well, that was not it, but we will play Silkenzon. 2 to level that up. Okay. Ooh, should have put Yorion in our hand. That's fine. I think we'll crack Omen of the Sea. I think I do want to try and dig for that land. Curious Obsession. Yeah, no, I especially want to dig for that land. Why snow? Wait, it feels like even when you're playing snow lands, there's better creatures than that. Though I have a strong inclination that whatever oh, it's a spirit. That could also be why. There's counter spells that are conditional on you having spirits. Alright, what do you got? They are playing a lot of counter spells. I actually wouldn't be surprised if this resolves. That makes sense. Okay, well, we probably have just a few turn window here in order to salvage what we got going on here. Sure. We could be losing already. So this is the type of deck that Winota pushes out, because Winota just runs stuff like this over. But like these decks that we're playing are definitely really soft to this kind of stuff. Because if they never tap out, then we'll never have a window of opportunity to. Alright, we'll try it again. If this gets countered, we're probably just going to concede to save time. Yeah, we'll concede. It's not worth fighting that fight, because they're drawing 2 cards a turn and countering every one spell we play. However, a really good card against them is going to be Fry. Shatter, not so much. I wouldn't mind wishing for Shatter, but I'm not going to keep it on my main deck. Anger is just better because it costs less mana. Albeit that threat that they played specifically can get out of the way of it. But I am surprised to see them playing that. I guess I could see why they play that card, but it feels like still like an unblockable 1-drop or a 1-drop that has like more relevant text on it, because it feels like oh, I can sink mana into this threat. It's like, well, the decks that you're gonna go into that late of a game against, like you're probably not gonna want to tap out. And I doubt it's gonna be a blocker. And even then, I think there's just better things you could block with. Right. Our opponent knows we're on 4-color fires, and we know they're on mono blue tempo. Counter spells are very good against Fires of Invention. So one of the things that this deck is kind of counting on is that counter spell decks are bad. And I would say by and large, counter spell decks are very bad in this format, at least in Explorer. I think in Pioneer too, by extension, but because I can't I know people play Blue White Control in like Pioneer, but like it feels like the style of gameplay that creates is both ineffective against Winota and really bad against the decks that people play to answer Winota, which is like either equally aggressive decks that have more removal, like Play with Fire and other burn spells, or like black-based mid-range decks that play like a boatload of removal and then also just like Thought Seizes and Duresses, like 8 of them in the 75. Which, yeah, not exactly a recipe that's super favorable to control decks, because we don't have counterspell, like actual factual counterspell. We have like, disallow and other random things. Got to mulligan that one. This is a good hand though. Headquarters into a mountain. Probably put this Bark Channel Pathway back. We get to scry 3 here. This is a good looking hand. Opponent's making some hard decisions over there. So there could be a possibility. I imagine if I was our opponent, I would put my deck on a lot of sweepers. So counter spells would be particularly effective here, as well as our general game plan does play into that, just in general. But like that's what's going to make Fry particularly good against them. Definitely down for Urban Utopia, not down for Golos here. Omnath is probably, maybe I wouldn't want Golos. Maybe Omnath's the one. Actually, I think I just put both of these back. Maybe I put them all there. I think I just put them all down. I don't think it's bad, but I do need a 4th land well before I need any of those. So, not specifically not playing holding up Growth Spiral here. Not ideal, but here I'm going to play Otawara. We'll take our 1. Play Growth Spiral. See what they do. Maybe it was right to fry during the end step. I'll actually give it another turn. Because here if I fried and then they had like a way to counter or stop fry, could untap into the Sphinx to have a blocker for this anyway. I'm willing to take 1 here. Kill this. So here they'd have to have specifically a dive down or whatever the new phase out one is. There's no counter spell that's going to hit this fry. They don't have one. Okay. They do have something with flash though. That's pretty notable. I'm willing to play the Sphinx first. They do have a counter spell. I think I'd actually rather have Omnath resolved than the Sphinx, but the Sphinx is all. I mean, they're all good. Like, yeah, that's going to be the kind of stuff we're going to have to just play through here. Looks like they don't have another threat though. All right, well, let's cast Omnath. Or if they do, it's instant speed, I guess. There's probably no doubt, because they have this, they have the Spirit one as well. So I imagine, yeah, because they have this one. I imagine that they're playing like a lot of this. Oh, great, they have another one. Well, if they have the, okay, it doesn't look like they have the obsession. So I think here they definitely like for sure have a counter spell, but oh, I can't even cast it. I'll play Fires of Invention. There's actually an argument to our opponent if they were playing hard counter magic to actually just let that resolve, but yeah, we're probably not winning this one. Well, on account of a few reasons, but one being that our mana has not enabled us to play double red. Probably punishing us for putting that Urban Utopia back. A little brutal, but not the end of the world. Grab Yorion. We're just going to have to run it out, although now they're getting to the point where this card's drawing cards. I doubt we're winning this one. This is definitely a tough deck to beat for a deck like ours. Like we're a big like tap out, go over the top deck, and counter spells have never been a thing we're particularly good at playing through with a deck like this. Ascendant Spirit. Well, it makes a lot more sense now. They have 6 untapped mana. Yeah, I'm willing to pack it in here. This game's over. Oh yeah. I'm not gonna fight the losing fight. That is a. Has me curious, actually.
How is that audio? Is that better? So it does. Bear with me, chat. It turns out my overlay had started capturing audio from my webcam, and not my microphone. Wonderful. That explains the audio issues I had in the Snapshot episode. Interesting. All right. Well, we went 2-1 with the Yorion Fires deck. As is, it still seemed quite strong. Mono Blue Spirits is a deck that's been showing up in Pioneer, so I'm not surprised to really see it showing up here in Explorer. One thing I will say that gives those decks a bigger edge here is that Rending Volley isn't legal in Explorer. Well, rather, not that it's not legal in Explorer, it definitely is. It just hasn't been put on Arena yet. That being essentially like a 1-mana version of Fry, but can only hit creatures. Yeah, I think the biggest change would probably be I'd cut 1 Epiphany. Maybe play another Ultimatum. Any of these I would want to play. Yeah, like a Genesis Ultimate. Just another like big go over the top thing. It's probably not even necessary, actually. I think I actually just want another Fry. Yeah, there's 4 Fries on the board. I think the main deck seems fine. Probably tweak the mana base a little bit. But yeah, definitely a deck that I think... This is definitely a strategy that I think, at least in Explorer, I think it's a lot worse in Pioneer. Because, like, the aggressive decks are more aggressive. And the counterspell decks are also just playing better. So it definitely feels a lot like that's going to be... If it's going to be anywhere, it'll be Explorer. And then as we get more Pioneer cards on Arena, it'll probably just steadily get worse. We'll see, but we're going to queue up the Jund Ob Nixilis deck. This is a deck that I have played a little bit of, and I will tell you, Ob Nixilis is a very dumb Magic card. Like, holy cow, does it do some dirty things. Now this hand on the other, that hand don't do nothing. This hand does a lot, though. I put back Dark Boar Pathway. Yeah, I'll put back Dark Boar Pathway. Go ahead and play... We're going to play Crag Crown Pathway and play Voldaren Epicure. Get in for 1. We have a dead... Next turn we could play, probably Shock in the Overgrown Tomb, hold up Deadly Dispute. Damn. In a world of 1/1s, the 1/2 is king. Interesting. I know a big debate in Explorer, at least, is what the best... Oh, gross. They got the combo. Like, a big debate right now in Explorer is what is the best way to play Winota, and I think there's a good case for this variant. We're going to sack the Blood token here. Well, that's not doing us any justice, these hands. Definitely feels like we probably could have taken a mulligan to 5 here. Thinking about how this hand's played out, but if they have land Winota, we could just be dead. That's what it's looking like. Yeah, Winota Joiner Forces, you got it. It's pretty brutal. Swing with the team, make a treasure. And there's no reason not to attack with everything here. I have no doubt that this card, it's actually not bad for us. We pretty actively don't mind that they hit a Winota. They missed on the second one and missed on the third one. So this can eat this can eat this can trade here, and I will take 4. For all intents and purposes, that was actually quite the positive exchange there. Kind of like what's going to happen here, I think. Sack that. Get rid of your Winota. Play a Blood Crypt tap. Get in for 6. So one of the things that's cool about this deck is, well, the one big thing I'm going to say about Winota is that this is a powerful card, but it misses a lot. Like, a lot of people don't realize how often it can miss. Because, like, the one thing that's always kind of been true about the deck is that it is not, like, it's never had, like, perfect mana. I think I'm going to sack a Blood Tithe Harvester. So here I'm going to go like this. Casualty. Sack that. I'm interested in getting a Devil down. And plussing. Imagine they're just going to take 2 here. Unless that's a land, then they probably will dump it, I guess. So here we get to attack with the Issachus Chariot and do one of the dirtiest interactions that's existing right now, where we get to copy the Ob Nixilis token and plus again. Because the thing we get a Devil here, that allows us to gain life by doing the combo here, which, as well as just like now, like we're gonna untap and like make another Ob Nixilis. Because they have no good attacks here. Even if they play a Winota, I don't think they have good attacks here. Because playing a Winota means, what's going to happen? I'm going to block a big thing with the 1/1, deal 1 to them, and then 2 pluses are going to kill them. Like, I'll just aggressively block and then they die. Seems good to me. That seems like a positive exchange. Opponent's thinking through. Plus, they also hit a Winota off their other Winota, so they're actually down an extra Winota from where they would be normally. They could play like a Tovolar Huntmaster and go up to 8 and then be dead anyway. But hey, I'll be honest with you, chat. I think these decks are just really good. All right, so Winota. Ray of Enfeeblement is good. It kills only 1 toughness things as well as Winota itself. Fry is in the same boat. Kills all the white stuff. Kills Winota specifically. Noxious Grasp as well. So I think just bringing in these things are going to be good. I think Tenacious Underdog and Kroxa are probably our worst cards here. Kroxa. Underdog can block. Kroxa. Attacking their hand, not bad. Not really doing anything else. So I think we can cut that. We play the Ray of Enfeeblement, the Noxious Grasp, and the Fry. What else do we cut? Probably trim 1 Chariot. And I think we trim 1 Fable. Just some of our slower stuff. Like, bring the curve, bring it down. Or rather, I guess for you at home, that's down. Going from right to left. But, alright. Okay. I'm not gonna pretend this hand is the best thing we've ever kept, but it does what it does, and it kills Winota, and has other powerful mid-rangey stuff going on. The biggest question for me in this deck is if there's a better 3-drop than a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I'll play that. That was aggressive. I don't know why they shocked. Alright. Magda, you got it. So I think here I'll play the 3/2 down. Like, they're not tapping into a Winota, because, like, the biggest thing is to kill Winota before combat happens. Brutal Cathar, sure. We don't have a 3rd land, which could get a little dicey. Fry, okay. Still a little dicey. Ooh, that's a sick interaction. Yeah. We'll take the old fiver here. So here we're gonna untap, and we're gonna go end step Deadly Dispute. Forgot this was gonna flip into a red thing. To be honest with you, chat. Or I thought I could be clever, like, well, if they don't have Winota, I'll just kill this thing before it blocks, right? That seems quite strong. Go play down Crag Crown Pathway. We could play another. I think we just play 2 creatures here. No, because then this flips and gets to exile something again, huh? That's tricky. I think we play a Blood Tithe Harvester. Brutal Cathar is, well, brutal. Okay. I will trade with Magda here. I'm not shy to admit that. So, like, worst case is they're playing like they just have another Magda. That's a good one. Well, I mean, we've drawn 8 trillion Issachus Chariots. I think here we're just going to play a Fable. Probably could have actually played this last turn. If they just slam a Winota, we just lose, so I'm not too... At this point, I'm just going to, like, if they have it, they have it. Not going to play around a thing I can't beat regardless. But next turn we can dump these, probably one of the Chariots and an Underdog. Yeah, we'll trade with the Magda again. We don't really need... I would love to keep the Goblin Shaman, but if this gets to attack again, I don't really feel like finding out if they have a Dragon in their deck. Do you have a Pump spell in your deck? Is this like a Dromoka's command? I don't know why they play it now and not, like, before combat, but... Valorous Stance, sure. Play another spell, play another spell. Do it. Okay, well, they've been very particular not to play another spell. Jesus. I'll actually discard 2 Chariots here. Draw a land. I really didn't want it to be that land, but... we'll play... We could play Shambling Ghast, Shock, play a 2-drop. It sucks being at such little life, but hey. It is going to turn it back to daytime. And it being daytime again is really where we need it to be. Because here we can just... This will flip and exile something, and then we can just fry this. Sure, it's fine. Again, we still get to hold up whether... Like, if they play a Winota, we can still kill the Winota. I think it's better to have this countered if they have another one. If they have another Valorous Stance, I'd rather lose this Fry than lose the Noxus Grass, because this is going to gain us a life here. Yeah, they do have another one. That's fine. That does mean that's not going to flip again, which is a good thing. I'm going to block this guy, make a treasure. Yep, that's unfortunate, but, you know, it's gonna... What can you do? Tovolar Huntmaster. That's probably enough to win the game here. I would venture to say. get this back. So we get to kill the Brutal Cathar. And I think we're just down to play another Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Yeah, this hand did not play out. We got choked on lands, which is gonna happen. Okay, well. Can't all be as lucky as our opponent. Yeah, that's enough. Go to the next game. Gave him the opportunity to whiff. That's what it is. I think I'm gonna cut one more Chariot. Play one more Path Fable. I just want cheaper stuff. Definitely feels like this is a much easier game to win on the play to begin with, so feeling a little bit more confident about our game 3 regardless, but yeah, that was rough. It's a rough hand for a lot of reasons. Alright, this is fine. Though it would be nice to draw some removal, but we got a Deadly Dispute. That's going to dig pretty deep. Okay, I didn't have anything. Here, let's get it for 1. I'm going to play this Overgrown Tomb tapped and just get a Shambling Gas down. I want to get specifically Shambling Gas down because here if they untap, play something like Magda, I can actually pretty aggressively just sack this to draw a card and then kill the Magda for free. And like here, I'll even attack for 2. Like I got no fear. No fear in the dojo. Sack this guy. Kill your Magda. Voltage Surge. That's a good one. Yeah, Blood Tithe Harvester. Just push more onto the battlefield. Got a Voltage Surge and a Ray of Enfeeblement, so I'm not too worried about like a Brutal Cathar here. That was particularly good. Actually, well, the other thing doesn't even kill it, so submit 0. Get in for 4. Play this down. Casualty X. I'll sack the Harvester here. Come more into that. And then I always want... So one of the things I've learned is you always want the non-token to be more vulnerable. So you should always minus the non-token. Because the token isn't legendary, so that means you can have multiples of that on the battlefield. Oh wow, they must have a really good hand. Issacka's Chariot, sure. I'm totally cool with all that. Let's play our own Issacka's Chariot. No, I think we hold up... Actually, we could just hold up the Ray, right? Just like uptick these obs. If they play a Winota, we can just kill the Winota. This Ray of Enfeeblement. If we do that, we can also probably pitch one of these Chariots to draw a card during their turn. Actually, we probably do that now if we're going to hold up Ray. Just padding our life total. Yeah, I think we do that now since we're going to hold up a Ray of Enfeeblement. This way, if we draw exactly like a land or a 2-mana play, or even a 1-mana play, like, yeah, like this is all just positive now. Because now if they just animate Issacka's Chariot in an attack, I just kill the Issacka's Chariot before combat. And if they have a Winota at the same time, I can just Ray of Enfeeblement. So... Well, I'm gonna go like this. Like, this is fine. It's gonna kill Winota. And, I guess I'll Noxious Grasp that. I don't really have any good attacks now, so... Sure. You're going at the high loyalty one, huh? I'm willing to... I'll let this go down. I don't really need it to stay. Just kill one of these 2/2s. Tenacious Underdog. Okay, well. Plus. It's gonna keep plus, plus, plus in a way here. We'll play the Chariot. Like... So they had a Magda in their hand. So that last card might just be like another Winota. That would be particularly brutal, but if it's not exactly that, I'm fine with it. Because as it stands right now, like, I'm, like, very ahead. I have a hard time imagining that they would have kept anything else. Okay, yeah, they didn't have anything. Brutal. Okay. What we got going on here? Well, that felt good. It definitely feels like that is a... Like, there's not, like, a clear, like, oh, they're gonna run us over, or, oh, we have, like, a really good game against them. It feels like Winota is a deck that... It's gonna be the thing that keeps decks that are doing, like, very unfair things in check. Like, if you're just a slow combo deck, like, Winota will just beat your head to the ground. And if you're not, and you have, like, a decent sideboard, like, you can just, like, play through them. Play first. Got 1-drop, 2-drop Chariot. This might be a mulligan, actually. I like this hand less, but I'm not gonna mulligan it. Play this tap to pass. Ideally, we draw some kind of 1-drop here. Okay, opponent's on a deck that this Fatal Push is gonna feel real bad against. And the second Fatal Push is gonna feel even worse against. Oh, never mind, they're on that deck, okay. What? Like, what are you... Oh, Emery. Conveniently can't really hit that one. Is this like Esper Grease Fang? That's what I would guess that's for. Okay, well... Drawing a whole lot of stuff we can't cast, which kind of sucks, but hey. I will say Kroxa feels a little out of place in this deck. Having looked at that hand. Our starting hand. So they're going to be able to get their Moonsnare prototype back, and I'm going to get to do a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, I'll kill that. There's no reason to let him draw a card here, so... Plus, that's a cast trigger, so... It's an interesting looking deck so far. Oh, they tapped that thing. Sure. We'll kill Emery. And do nothing else, sadly. Would love just like a 1-mana thing. Like a Voltaren Epicure or Shambling Ghast would be quite strong here. You got it, brother. Feels like an easy take, that Fatal Push. Because if they have any more creatures, this Fatal Push is a huge liability for them. If they take like an Issachel's Chariot that tells me their hand is a bunch of air that does nothing. Or that they have exactly one answer to an Issachel's Chariot. We need to draw something proactive, though. Like, we've been kind of sitting here doing fuck all nothing, so... Emery, fantastic. Okay, yep, they're a Grease Fang deck. That makes sense. Well, we're not exactly equipped to beat that, but hey. Sure. Plays a land. Goes to our turn. Hey, that would have been so good like a turn ago. Beggars can't be choosers, so, you know, it is what it is, but... Okay, we lose. They're just going to get Parhelion back, beat it, and hit us really hard with it, so... Luckily, we have two things. We got this, and we've got this. We've also got these, which seem like they're going to be really good on the play. So, Voltage Surge seems good, but Fatal Push seems a little on the weak side. Probably not unplayable, though. Voltage Surge could be fine. I doubt... I don't think we're... I think we're going to cut this. It just feels really weak. It feels like Isika's Chariot is not, like, what we want it to be here, and... Probably cut, like... We leave the Fable. These kill exactly Grease Fang, I guess. How hard is it for us to be able to kill Grease Fang right now? It is pretty hard. Can actually probably cut that. Actually, I think I like the Kolagon's commands. I think we could bring in the grass. I guess the Fry also kills the blue creatures, so we'll bring in the Fry. I think here we can bring out... We'll bring out, yeah, like two Fables. I think, maybe not Chariots. Shambling Ghast. Shambling Ghast actually doesn't do a whole lot, I guess. That feels better. Still want a couple of them, because we want, like, stuff to still be able to sacrifice to Deadly Dispute, of course, but definitely, like, much worse than... Because it doesn't really kill anything with its ability here. Play first. Okay. It's definitely missing some pieces, like, admittedly, but, you know. They did mulligan, which is a good sign for us. What have you got? They've also got... Okay, well, I mean, yeah, we're gonna... They can't even cast this Thoughtseize, I guess, so there's... So this looks like they're gonna go Prototype on one, Treasure Vault, Emery... I think we just take... We could probably take either Tezzeret or Emery here, huh? Do I care if they Thoughtseize me? Probably not, to be honest with you. Can I... How effectively will I be able to kill this? Fairly effectively. I'm gonna take their Tezzeret. In the scenario where they go exactly shock... into this, into turn 2 that, then, like, this could be particularly effective against them. Play this. Play a Soul Guide Lantern, just tag this Tezzeret. If they mill over something like Parhelion, could sack this to eat their graveyard and Fatal Push the Emery. Does leave us in actually a very precarious position. Okay, well, they didn't even hit anything, so... I actually think we'll wait. Just hold that up. That was a good one. We don't get to do the casualty here, but we do just get to play an Op Nixilis. I think... Just plus. I have no reason to just not be plussing here, I guess. Not as good as it could have been, but still a good one nonetheless. Just pressuring our opponent is a good thing. Looks like our opponent might be... Oh, that's a good one. That'll gas him back up. We wouldn't mind drawing another copy of Thoughtseize here. Sure. Here comes a Thoughtseize. This could easily be any of these 3 cards. Imagine Isuka's Chariot's probably the take. But yeah, there's an argument for that too. Yeah, we'll see what they do. It doesn't look like they have a way to easily get... Yeah. They can't combo kill us. Like, that's the most important bit right now. Like, them combo killing us. Like, as long as this is in play, they can't, like, Greasefang Parhelion kill us, so... as long as that's the case, then I think we're fine. We'll just keep upticking Obnixilis, and eventually, like, this is gonna get to a point where it's at 7. If they're at less than 7 life, like, that just kills them. Karn, Scion, Urza. I imagine that minuses. Yeah, you get a 2/2. They don't have any colorless artifacts. That's a little bit of a miss. Gets +1, plus what? Oh, the treasure vault. That, yeah, duh. Goodness. Why don't we -2 the Obnixilis this turn? It's gonna let me do a few things, but... If I send this at Karn, and they attempt to trade... we'll make another devil, actually. Oh, interesting. Sure. Works for me, boss. Alright, we got plenty of mana to work with. I want to get rid of that one. Whatever. Alright. Here we'll get to deal... We're going to deal 1 to Karn. Drew a bunch of lands. That was less than ideal, but hey. Still got a chump blocker for a construct, so I'm not too worried. Plus, I made it so they couldn't make another construct. That was the important bit. That can go in your hand. You can have a Rafine's Tower. Oh, interesting. So they're interested in cycling that. Surge Hacker Mech. Oof. That kills my devil. And then they get to kill Obnixilis. Oh, never mind. They're going to go for the 2/2. Okay. If I was our opponent, I don't think we could attack here. Let's look at their graveyard quick. Do I think... What are my chances of actually being able to crew this Isuka's Chariot? Well, I think we can actually pretty safely draw a card here before we go to blocks. Deadly Dispute. I think that makes me interested in doing like that. Oh, I messed that up. That's fine. That was actually a big mistake. Do get to kill the Karn this way. Jeez, just holy lands, man. There's no way they can crew that here. Make another 1/1. We'll sack the treasure token. I actually should have did that before I minused, but holy shit. Just drawing 8 trillion lands over here. There's not a lot of lands in our deck, admittedly, chat. That's a fry that's doing a whole lot of nothing right now, huh? We're gonna send this, kill the Karn. And our opponent's gonna get to take it away here. Luckily, if they have some kind of blue threat, like, say, an Emery, we can just kill it immediately without too much worry, but that could set up a potentially dangerous scenario with Greasefangs, but... Well, they can crew this, conveniently. Doesn't look like they're... Are they... Okay, they're just not interested in... That's an interesting choice from our opponent. They just acted. So basically, what they did there was they decided that they weren't going to, like, they weren't going to bother playing around. Because they can't, like, this is 3 and tap this. They could make it generic with this, but, like, then this is tapped. So it's just like, I think that was a mistake from our opponent. If you had an untapped land there, I could see why they would be doing this, but yeah, it feels like our opponent just sort of played bad. Okay, we'll play the Fable. Crew the Chariot. Unless they're holding up like a removal spell, that would be pretty savage, but here we'll make a copy. It doesn't matter, it's just going to be on blocking duty, but luckily, these Fables are quite strong, even when we draw a bunch of lands, so... So again, they can kill this Ob Nixilis if they want it. They just gotta crew the Surge Hacker mech. Like, cause they could have killed this last turn, that would have saved them some damage. Sure. And at this point, you're gonna attack it for 5, and this should just go at me for 4. If they're going to attack. Actually, they can't even attack with this. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, like... That's dead. There's nothing I can do about that. Should have happened last turn. They gave me a plus for no reason. That's okay. You know, it's a new format. Okay, yeah. They saw the writing on the wall. A little surprised they played that turn out if that's all they were going to do. I don't think I need to change anything. Duress, getting to play this matchup a little more, maybe Duress is good. Like, they have a good number of creatures. Yeah, I think Duress is probably fine. Fatal Push sure looks a lot worse, but... K-Command looks a lot better. I actually think it's a tenacious underdog on the draw. Matter of fact, I think I can even go... Call like one more underdog. Yeah. I don't think it's a Bousseju here. I don't think that's the deck. This is not the deck I think we want that against. That's like Fires of Invention. Plus, I'm not even sold on Bousseju in this deck to begin with, admittedly. So, definitely a little bit more questionable in this build. Okay. Well, I'm not going to be so shy, so I'm going to thought seize you, brother. Okay, well, they've got a 2-drop onto a... Okay, so we gotta think about how we're gonna play this. So they're looking for something like Thirst for Knowledge right now. I mean, I could deal with all this. That's the nasty part. Get rid of the Ledger Shredder. Now, that might seem like a weird pick, but there's a very good reason for it. It's that I can kill Greasefang. I'm not worried about that. That would be the other choice to take. Here it's just an underdog. So, if they do, there's a few things we might have to worry about. There's a chance they just run out the Greasefang as a creature. Just to have something on the battlefield that doesn't hurt. Especially if they're not doing anything else. That's a big thing. Is that if they don't have anything else in their hand to be doing, then they should just be playing the Greasefang here. Well, ooh, that was a good one. I think here I can't play 2 red spells. Let's start with an attack for 3. Okay. And since that worked, I'm going to just go ahead and play this as a green source. And pass. They have exactly a Thirst for Knowledge. Surge Hacker mech. I mean, I'll let you target it, I guess, but... right now, I actually think we're gonna take it here. Yeah, I think it's better just to... Kind of sucks to take a bunch of damage, but it's not the end of the world. What happens here? Turn it to the hand at the beginning of your next end step, huh? So, if I kill this... I think that's the play. I think I go like... Shock... Fry this. Play Fable. There's no chance that they have a way of putting that in and playing another Grease Fang here. I suppose that's technically not true, right? They could have land, right? No, that wouldn't even be enough mana. Karn, Scion of Urza, sure. How big is it? Exactly a 4/4, huh? Oof, gonna hit me for 5 even. That's pretty good. I don't think I'm interested in the card Thoughtseize right now. Nixilis, though, on the other hand, that one is quite good. To each opponent. Okay, let's go to an Nixilis, make a treasure. Voltaren Epicure. Sack this blood token. Go ahead and... yeah, sack the Epicure. Could sack the Shaman too, I guess, but... this will... I'm going to minus this. I'm actually interested in padding up my life total right now. This could backfire if they have exactly a Grease Fang in the top 2 cards of their deck. Or if one of these was a Grease Fang, but at the same time, it's like, I have to just, like, yeah, you can have a Treasure Vault, buddy. I just sort of have to, like, play into the fact that they don't. Because if they do, I'm going to lose anyway, so I can't really be too worried about it. Oh, they're going straight at my face. Commendable. Commendable. I don't think it's the right choice, but, you know. You gotta do what you gotta do, opponent. I mean, this gains me 4 life. I don't think they can win this race, if I'm being upfront with y'all. Can do a couple of things this turn from the looks of it. Another Parhelion. Again, if the top card of their deck is a Grease Fang, we're just sort of SOL anyway, so... we'll start in. We'll get in for 2 here, 1 there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I can play both. Play a Fable, the Mirror Breaker. Play an Iseka's Chariot. Hope we don't die. End the turn. So if they have a Grease Fang, we're dead, and if they don't, I think we win. Okay. I was willing to take that risk. It's a risky risk. Risky business. But Nixilis has not steered us wrong yet. Not bad. Again, I think that was only our second match with this deck. I like how these games have gone longer than the Yorion Fires deck. A deck that if you played it in paper, you would get literal carpal tunnel syndrome. Match number 3 with... I think I know that person, Mana Screwed. Seems familiar to me. Snap Mulligan. Sad Boy Keep. Never mind. Sad Boy No Keep. Oof. Mulligan again. Alright, this is as good as it's probably gonna get. We have a turn 2 Tenacious Underdog, so we're putting back an Isuka's Chariot. I think we're putting back a Deadly Dispute. Because, I mean, Deadly Dispute don't do nothing without, like, the Underdog anyway. Tap, tap, taparoo. Okay, some type of mirror match, probably. Oh, Thoughtseize on one. I mean, if they have a removal spell, this is an easy Ob Nixilis, but we mulligan to 5 against the Thoughtseize deck, so that's pretty much a concession. Isuka's Chariot, fascinating. Alright, play the Tenacious Thirst Trap. Look at those abs. Those abs are gonna get me hit with a mature-only rating. Alright, so that tells me they either have another Thoughtseize, or they are just going to kill literally everything I put on the battlefield. I have a strong inclination that it's probably the latter from the looks of things, but, I think I'm willing to just run this out, plus it. There's a chance if I play this, they just have another hand disruption spell, but see if this Ob Nixilis can carry me into gaining back some the card advantage. I suppose I didn't necessarily. I lost card advantage on my mulligan, but all right. So, ooh, Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Something we can't actually play in our deck because we're a 3-color deck. And Grass Rampage. Gross. I'm willing to pay 2 life and draw a card. Trigger. Hive can't attack for at least one more turn. Thoughtseize. You got another Tenacious Thirst Trap, brother. These are... Oh, they don't have a 4th land. That's good news for us. Send in the Thirst Trap. E-Boy Underdog. Go. Form of gain me card advantage. Please point a removal spell at this. Oh, thank you. Yes. All of the positive card advantage right there. Just want to point out, like, having to kill this when it's blitzed which is essentially just juiced, which I love, but hello. I can't imagine this is anything but run out that Bone Crusher. Bulky God of Lies. You got it. You got one of my two drops. Best draw off the top is probably Ob Nixilis. One makes a devil, the other one pluses. Removal spell wouldn't be bad here. Interesting choice. I'm willing to play a Croxa. This last card out of their hand. It's a good one to get out of their hand, I guess. Play the Thirst Trap. Would love a removal spell off the top. There's no reason not to make that a 3-2 for our opponent here. Yeah, just... Slippery Sock. Yeah, it has been a while. Good to see ya. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you've been having a rough couple of months here. It's never good to hear, of course. Glad to have you, though. I hope that by watching the stream tonight that you can find some joy then. Let's think here. They're for sure attacking and probably eating a Croxa next turn. I think I do this. I don't think... There's not a way they're blocking this one, so I'll blitz this one and attack just to see what they do. Deal. Sign me up, brother. None of these are good blocks. These are all bad blocks. Well, that's the whole idea here. Is that I hope to bring you some joy so that you can have a good time. We are playing some Magic tonight. Brand new format. Explorer. It's a bridge format to a format they haven't quite gotten all the cards for on here. Aw, sick. That's so good. It's my Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And that's a concession right there. Feels like a weird game. It feels like they could have played that a lot differently. Rakdos Pile, huh? I think our opponent is me, Chad. I think we're playing against me. Because this is exactly the kind of schlock that I would bring to the ladder and lose with. Don't get me wrong, I love Rakdos mid-range decks, just like this one here, but I will be the first to tell you exactly when they're not good. Which is, as it turns out, most of the time. Huh. So a good rule of thumb is that you never want Thoughtseize against the other mid-range deck. Kroxa is good because they will either, if they're playing Graveyard Hate, which is like overall fairly bad against us, this would be fine. I think we want like Kolgon's commands. Probably leave our chariots in. Fatal pushes don't seem horrible, but they don't really seem all that good either. But I think we'll cut some. Yeah, we'll cut up 2 pushes. They don't kill planeswalkers. We don't really have any good ways to deal with planeswalkers anyway. We're definitely we're an aggro deck, like relative to what they're doing. So, but we're on the draw, which is actually a good thing. But this hand is exactly what I want. Go, gadget, 1 mana, 1/1. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. My condolences, Slippery Sock. I can't imagine what it's like losing both your parents like that. But we'll try to have a good time. That is all positive for me right there. That is everything I wanted to have happen. Alright, 2 mana, 3/2. Well, we're glad to have you here. We like having our regular viewers especially. You being, well, actually a long-time viewer at this point, I would say. More likely to need more red mana first before. Go ahead and play the old Shambling Ghast and another one. So, one of the things I would say in this matchup here is that our deck, the kind of threats we're playing, are very good against this. This card is really good against Winota decks, which are like, yeah, they're proactively playing creatures that are making mana. Well, we might play Grounded again sometime. I actually haven't played through most of the more recent expansions, so that's brutal. I mean, they're gonna feel real bad when I play this Chariot, but this is Magic the Gathering. Just this is actually the game I've always primarily played on stream, because I do play. Well, now that we have the Pro Tour for Magic the Gathering is coming back, I'm very much wanting to be back on Magic mostly. So, the last time we had the Pro Tour and I was able to play as much, I didn't really have the resources to truly enjoy, the whole experience. Oh, that's dirty. You got it. I mean, it's fair. We also have Kolgon's commands, but I talk about doing somebody dirty. But yeah, this is a game I've played Magic. A lot of people don't. Generation Zero. I have not actually. Though I've heard that come up more than once in conversation. No, we've been playing Magic. I've been playing Magic for, was it 23 years? Like a really, 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 really long time. Because to put it in perspective, I'm 27. So I play a lot of Magic the Gathering. I think our best draw here is probably just Ob Nixilis. Yeah, 23 years. Yeah, I learned how to play kind of the basics. I learned how to, it was the basic of basics, but like I learned how to play when I was like 4. And I learned how to read by playing with Magic cards. Well, ask and you shall receive, right? When, this thing doesn't have menace, right? Yeah, it's just the big bambino. Eat a kitty cat, make an extra ob. Do a bunch of dumb stuff. Alright. So again, we always minus the original. Because we don't mind if the original dies, and we always plus the not original. Because the not original is the one that the chariot here gets to make the extra copies of and do all the dumb stuff with. Block me. Nice! They get to learn the power of the Catmobile. We up here riding with our boy Ob Nixilis, the adversary, straight into the platinum zone. Jeez, that was well, we went 2-1 with Yorion Fires and 3-0 here with the Ob Nixilis pile. I definitely feel like Kroxa is kind of the odd man out here. In theory, this feels like a really good card, but this card, it's too slow to do the trick with Deadly Dispute. The Redeem didn't go through for some reason. Let me take a peek. So, oh, Stretch. No, it went through. I'm using a restream. Oh, my back popped. That felt good. Yeah. So I may not see it right away because I have like multiple chat hubs that I'm looking at. So I switch back and forth regularly, but sometimes I'll miss it. I hope it was worth the channel points though. My back popped in like the best possible way. But yeah, it definitely feels like this was the odd duckling in our deck. Like it doesn't I think it's a good card in general, but I don't think it fits the list. It feels like this is a different thing. Like a different deck wants a card. It's still really good with Fable of the Mirror Breaker. What other games do I play? Recently, I actually haven't been playing much when it comes to other games, at least on stream. I've considered doing some variety games. Like, we might do Grounded again at some point. Because that's just a fun game in general, though I have found that streaming it gets a little... It's gotten a little worse to stream. I've also thought about just, like, replaying some old classic games on stream. And just having one night a week where I do a variety night. But, my primary content... Do I play horror games? I actually don't. So, I've tried. I will admit, I did try and play Dead Space on stream, but, like, my heart rate goes up really bad, and I don't think it's within my health's best interest to play that. Yeah, that was rough for me. Yeah, I've never done horror games very well, let's just put it that way. Yeah, it feels like we'll cut these Croxas. what we play in their place is like, it's like a million things we could play in their place. Playing 22 lands, right? Okay. Could play a Takenuma, I guess. It's a really solid land. Doesn't really fit the rest of our deck exactly. It'd actually be really good with Kroxa, but maybe not. It's a game called Visage. I think I've heard of that one. Is that like the one where like Visage game? Oh yeah, I've heard of that game. Yeah, that no. I'm more of a horror movie than a horror game kind of guy. Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I don't do them horror games. Uh-oh. You redeemed the hydrate. Alright, you'll have to bear with me. I actually don't have any water. So I am gonna go grab some water. So I will be right back. And we're back. But got some water. Good to hydrate. Alright, what the hell do we play here? So this felt strong in the mid-range matchups. This is really good because it pairs with Voltage Surge. Gives us something to sacrifice to our Deadly Dispute. I think it's literally just that. Just more one-mana things. Because Omnixus is really good. So, like, if I wrote a primer on how to play this card, it would be play creatures, sacrifice a creature when you cast it, and that would probably be it. And then the only real steps to do on the battlefield is you always minus the original, because the original is legendary, where the token it makes is not. And so you always plus your tokens and minus the original. At least on that first turn. Alright, sideboard-wise, this felt reasonable. Yeah, this card's stupid. Matter of fact, this card's likely to see some bans somewhere. Because I'm playing Explorer, but there's a format called Standard. Smaller card pool. It's like the last, like, 2 years-ish of sets. And that deck, there's a, like, oh, it's crazy, is, you cut all this, a good chunk of this isn't legal. All of these cards are actually, like, standard legal. Which is insane to me. The fact is I'm playing a deck that is mostly Fatal Push. This is the only not standard legal card in my deck besides some lands. And only 10 of my lands aren't standard legal. Like, it is crazy. The sideboard is where you get to see a lot more flexibility. Like Fry's Soul Guide Lantern, Koligon's Command, Noxious Grasp, Thoughtseize. Those aren't standard legal, but they're all very powerful cards. So it definitely feels like this is a deck that's... Like, I have a version of this for Pioneer, which is actually the same format as Explorer, just has the entire card pool, where right now Explorer's missing, like, I think, like, 37% or 33% of the card pool, but they will get there at some point. But yeah, this definitely feels strong. Could probably play some creature lands thinking about it, but I think Isaga's Chariot insulates us enough from sweepers. The other deck we played tonight, Yorion Fires, we went 2 wins, 1 loss with this one. This deck definitely feels like... It feels like we could improve this. How would we improve this? That's the big question. Is it worth improving? I think that's another question. Is it worth improving? Probably. It's probably worth improving. How would I improve it? So, this is a much different style of deck. I guess I should explain. We have new viewers in the chat. So this deck, we call it Yorion Fires because you get to play Yorion as your best friend, your companion. And you get to play this powerful enchantment called Fires of Invention. So what this card does, just to summarize, is normally you have to tap your lands to cast spells. This just says you can cast spells for free as long as they cost, which is this thing in the upper right-hand corner. Like right here on Yorion. As long as their cost is equal to or less than just the number of lands you control. It does only let you cast 2 things a turn, but when you're casting 2 really big things with big activated abilities, like some of these guys, they don't really matter. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Golos is definitely... Like, this is good. Feels like we just need 1 copy of Kenrith. The Cavalier is so good because it's not legendary. And 1 main deck copy because you don't just get to have 1 copy of your buddy. You get to have 2. Yorion and Yorion, best friends. The other thing that I thought about, well, we got Bousseiju, I guess, in our sideboard. So if I need to wish for a land, because that came up, I guess Bousseiju is like the best land to have. Huh. Maybe it's just, I think it's another copy of Yorion, the Sky Noodle. That feels better than Kenrith, because it synergizes with all this stuff we got down here. Yeah, I think we'll try this. I think we'll run this out again. We'll play, I think, another set of matches here with Yorion. So deceptively, these games go faster than the Ob Nixilis deck. Ob Nixilis deck, that deck's a scrapper. Yeah, we'll play first. Obosh the Prey Piercer. That's not terrifying, like, at all. Alright, I mean, it's not the greatest hand, but it does have a turn 3 fires, so... Can't be the worst thing in the world. Our opponent just mulliganed twice. So it's probably rough hand, no lands, or all lands, and then a keep. Alright, don't thought seize me, brother. Never mind. Completely different deck. That was a good draw. Though we need to draw something we can actually use this Fires of Invention with. So they're a Gruul, Obosh the Prey Piercer deck. I don't think that constitutes the same thing. I need a 4-mana thing right now, like an Anger, not another Fires of Invention. That's not entirely what I meant. Yeah, it's probably worth my while to shock, play a Fires, and then just cast this for 0 on the island. Not the best, like, series of draws there, but, you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. We're looking to take 5. And we're taking 5. Ouchie. Omnath is actually really good here. This lets us not only... This is going to let us draw a card and gain some life. Play the Jetmir Garden. Gain some life. We're going to buy our Sky Noodle. And our Sky Noodle is going to draw 2 cards. The Sky Noodle synergizes incredibly well with our deck, as it turns out. These are not the kinds of cards I want to be drawing. I would love to draw an Anger of the Gods. Well, there's no way they can have Embercleave, because they can only play odd-costed spells with this. Oh, I could have Egonjo'd there. Oh, never mind, they're 5/5s. Steals 4. Buying Obosh, sure. Play the old Golos here. Golos will go ahead and... Yeah, I'll take that action. Here I guess we're gonna grab... We'll grab a Fabled Passage, right? No, we don't have to bother. Grab the World Tree. Makes all our lands tap for any color, which is nice. If I play this, yeah, I think it's... Yeah, we'll go ahead and just do this. This is going to trigger Omnath again, which is going to actually add a bunch of mana to our mana pool. We can go like this. So we haven't cast our second spell this turn. I don't know why they conceded, but that didn't feel like it was unwinnable quite yet. And this is the best part about this deck, chat, is that unless I'm playing against a deck like Winota, where I want Fry, I can literally just get to go done. I don't even have to sideboard. That is both a blessing and a curse, by the way. That does not mean, that means we're going to struggle to interact in certain ways. Yeah, so where that Obnixilis deck we just played was like a... You know, you're scrapping, you're grinding the game out, you know, like, life totals on both sides are going to get real low. This deck's kind of the opposite. This is, you're like, when you're winning, you're dunking and smashing the backboard. And when you're losing, you're going for the dunk and then tearing your ACL. That would probably be the best way I could describe this. I got the 1-drop. I've got the World Tree. Yeah, it's a very polarized deck. Now, there are a lot of... The big thing that this deck gains by being willing to, you know, sort of take those losses that are really hard is that there's certain kinds of decks that you're just really good against. Like a deck like what we're playing against here is the kind of deck that we could struggle against. Like, looking like this hand is going to be a struggle. Despite the fact that our deck is like 48% lands, which you can see on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. But we're actually not far from just like, if we draw an untapped land, we could play Fires plus a Shatter to kill everything they have on the battlefield. And then we could untap into something like Omnath. Sure. That's scary, because we're going to take 6, go down to 12 here. They're probably posturing against a sweeper spell, though. That would be the smart play. Yep. That's exactly what they did. We'll go to our turn. We did not draw land. So we are actually... I'm just going to pack him. We're dead. So like I said, sometimes you go for the dunk and you tear your ACL. Alright, we'll submit it back. It's going to happen. Despite the fact that we have, you know, a ridiculous amount of lands in our deck, we will sometimes just not draw them and lose. And that happens. That's Magic the Gathering. So there's variance built into the game. Alright, this is probably a little too slow. Maybe not. How would I play this? You're like World Tree, Forest, Utopia. We're really hoping the top cards of our deck are really good, which I don't think we can rely on, so we'll mulligan. This is a much better hand. Like, it's not even close. I think I'm willing to put this Omen of the Sea back. That's a little risky, but it does enable me to be able to play this Omnath on. And, like, I guarantee right on time. Play Otawara here. Can pass. If we draw an untapped land, we're going to be in a really good position. Go ahead and just put that down. Okay, well, we didn't draw the untapped land, but... let's still go ahead. We're going to grab a Plains. And we can play Omnath. Draw. We won't get to gain any life, but we do get to draw a card. Oh, there's that untapped land. Actually, that wouldn't have done it. We needed specifically an untapped white land. That's actually maybe a little too specific to have been even remotely close to guaranteed. I'll take 5. I have no fear in my dojo. We draw a land off the top, that's not even entirely a bad thing. Okay. Let's think about this here. Start with a Growth Spiral. Go up to 19. Little brutal. This would clean up the battlefield really nicely. I'm willing to keep it. We are in a rough position. Like, our best draw, we could have arguably bottom, yeah, like they're going to swing at us for 10 here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be able to really do anything about it, so I'm just going to take my damage and pretend I like it. We're not dead here, but we're definitely in a much worse position. Okay. This gains us up to 13. It's also, sadly, we're not going to be able to cast Anger of the Gods here, but we are going to cast the Sky Noodle. And the Sky Noodle is going to draw 2 cards. And luckily, we could still pretty aggressively block here without it being too, like, particularly devastating. Like, Yorion can be a chump blocker without too much worry. I want neither of these cards. I already have 1 Anger, so I don't need another one. A land is not bad. Fae of Wishes is quite bad. Bone Crusher. Stomp my head. Okay, that's a little scary. So if they have a land here, we're dead. Right? Or rather, I'd have to chump block twice and then be dead anyway. Well, I mean, that's... I don't think that does it. Right? Second block here, chump block there, take 8, go to... Do I even need to chump block? 5, 8, 10, go to 1. Going up to 5. This lets me keep the Yorion, so... They don't have any red mana up, so I'm not, like, particularly worried. And they didn't play a land pre-combat, so... Just gain our 4. Go ahead and just Anger of the Gods. It kills all this stuff, but notably not these. Pick up our Yorion from our companion area, and we just get to bat. So now we'll probably have to double block, or at least... Actually, we'll probably just chump block if they can even attack with this thing. But I doubt that they can. This feels like you have to either pick up Obosh. Oh, okay. That works too. So if I double block, they're just going to kill Omnath. But I do get to kill this Lovestruck beast and have a Yorion. And I could just, like, play a Sphinx. This represents having more life, though. Like, if I do this, they're going to have this, just get to repeat this play next turn. Anyway, but I could go up to... I think I just double block. It's not the best feeling double block, because they get to kill my Omnath, and this legendary Yorion is making this other legendary Yorion not feel so special. Ooh, there was a land, too. It's on my sideboard right now. Fry, Cage, Negate, Ultimatum, all runes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, this feels like I just have to play the Sphinx, play the Fae of Wishes, show them this Allrun's Epiphany. No attacks. I don't know why they conceded, but, you know. I feel like that was they didn't want to play anymore. So they took their ball and went home. I mean, to be fair, they're going in... So a big thing about this deck that I want to make perfectly clear is that it's playing 2 cards that were banned in other formats. So it's specifically, like... So you notice how that game, we didn't even play our namesake card, and we still went over the top of them? We gained like 12 life off of Omnath. This card is absolutely absurd. Like, it's a card that needs to probably be banned at some point. Because, like, it was banned pretty quickly in Standard. I don't even think it was legal for a month in Standard. But, like, that card single-handedly won that game. And it will single-handedly crush aggressive decks. And we know it will. We know, because it does it in Modern, which is so there's Standard, Explorer, and then / Pioneer, which is where we're playing right now. And then there's Modern, which is this format with the next older set of cards. And Omnath is an absolute menace in that format, to the surprise of literally nobody. There's Fires of Invention and 2 cards I'm gonna scry to the bottom. So it's like the thing that's like Omnath is on borrowed time in Modern, albeit it is probably a better card in Modern than it is, say, in Pioneer. Easy Urban Utopia here. Draw a land. Yes! It's a good thing. Now we just need to draw a sweeper. Looks like we're up against just mono black aggro. Not too worried about playing against this deck, but play a Breeding Pool tapped. This is going to be looking for some kind of sweeper effect. Feels like an easy pump the night of Ebon Legion. Respectable. That's a good one. I always forget about that card existing. Shatter the Sky. Right where we wanted it. That was also a good one. That's a good follow-up play. They do get to draw a card because they have this Spawn of Mayhem, but I feel like just... They get a card, but they go down 3 cards, but up 1 card, and we go down 1 card, so I'll take that exchange. Please play another threat. Damn. That would have been so good for us. Alright, yeah, we'll play the Buseiju. We can do this first. If they have any, like, minus effects, this gets really bad. Sure. Play a Cavalier. I actually think we're going to discard these two. I'm interested in drawing something that isn't those. Alright, that was apparently enough for them. Like I said, when you win, you're smashing the backboard. Alright, you know what we get to do again, chat? We get to just click done. Actually, there is an argument to swap 1 Anger of the Gods in our deck for 1 Shadow of the Sky, which seems slightly better. But, even so. And our opponent's playing just... There's not a reason to play mono black in this format. Like there's reasons in proper Pioneer, which has like certain cards that benefit you greatly from playing with the with all of the monocolored stuff. Where in this format that doesn't really exist. This is a slow hand, but it has an Omnath in it, so as long as they don't Thoughtseize me, I think we'll be fine. Oh, I never didn't have it. Alright. White Tri-Land right off the top, baby. Let's do this. Yeah. Yeah, so, like, that's a thing that I find a little weird that people have been kind of forcing these strategies. From, like, my observations, where they're, like, really trying to make this good when it really just isn't. Sure. Bim bam. That's a good draw. That's not a good draw. I mean, there's a non-zero chance that we're going to lose here in like a few minutes. Like a minute and a half, probably. Alright, we'll play this on here. Not fantastic, these draws. I'm just going to play this now. Decline. I'm actually going to decline. She feels a little weird, but I'll explain here. If we actually live to our next turn, I'll explain. Because there's a chance. Yeah, we're taking 10. Yeah. We're so close to just being outright dead. This feels like a big old ray of enfeeblement, but we'll play out Omnath, draw a card. So, this Fabled Passage is a unique land in how it interacts with Omnath. This is what... So, there's a whole bunch of lands that work like this in Modern. Oh, I should have put a stop in their upkeep, but... How big can this get? This gets +3/+3. Okay, so... I am not strictly dead, but... I am very close to dead. They should have actually... there's a much better way they could have played that. Yeah, I don't think it really truly matters. I think we're just going to lose. I have to rip exactly like it very specifically shatter the sky off the top of my library, which is why I grabbed a white land. I did not nab exactly that. Yeah, we're dead. So that Fabled Passage can sacrifice itself to go get another land out of my deck, and with the way Omnath is templated, that will that I'll be able to gain life on my opponent's turn by playing that land out of my deck with Fabled Passage. So there's a whole cycle of lands in Modern. Half of them would have been in Pioneer, but they were actually banned immediately upon the format's creation to help diversify it from specifically being just like another Modern. It's a rough one, but we're going to keep it. Might even see us play this Fae of Wishes as a 2-mana 1/4. We got the Sphinx though. That's usually a good keep hand. Okay. Play this on 1, this on green, that to get that. Play an island, get to play Omnath, have 2 Omnaths, yeah. I want all those cards in that order. Very rarely do you get a hand like that. You got it, brother. This is why we left the Omnath on the top of our deck. This is an easy Omnath. There's no reason to take anything else. You could make it a slight argument for Fae of Wishes, but that's the old, do you take the boat or do you take the mystery box? You know, the classic Family Guy question. Let's go a lot faster if our opponent played a lot faster. Wow, they got nothing. That's good for us. They just tapped. They had a Thoughtseize. I get why they didn't run it out there, but playing Omnath. The World Tree. And they didn't even have a removal spell. So this is pretty much just kill on sight, but we get to untap. If this lives, I think we're... Yeah, they don't have an Ath. Omnath. Just swatting down aggro decks like it's nobody's business. Absolute legend. Omnath, too good, as it turns out. Why is this card legal? How have they not banned? I get the argument to not ban it. It's that we don't have the fetch lands. They banned the fetch lands, which make Omnath way too good. But we also have the mana to play 4 colors is also just way too good. Alright, let's jam. Third match. I will say, like, for all intents and purposes, we are in fact 5-1 with this deck tonight. And I'm sorry, was it 4-1 rather? We played 5 matches with this deck. Our first set, we went 2 wins with 1 loss, and then this is 2 wins in a row. So I think this deck is good. Oh, we got paired up to Diamond. Wow. Look at us. Just living our life. On the draw. Okay. Yeah, it happens. The more formats they make, like the more they're dividing the player base, as well as I think Explorer is probably going to be, I think Standard and Explorer, Standard's like the most popular format. Well, that's a bad sign. I kept a very slow hand on the draw, and they mulliganed. Oh, this might be like Boros, like Prowess, or Heroic, I guess, is what we call it. Yeah, let's play this tap. There's no reason to hold up Boseiju, I don't think. Though there's a chance. What I love about... Oh my goodness. This feels like whenever this happens, like, we're just, like, getting away with murder. I got the raps like I'm Shakula. That's how good our hand is that I can just, like, actively, like, discard a land or Yorion. Yeah, I'll get rid of this mountain. This is gonna go grab a plains more than likely next turn. And now here what I'll do is I'll probably just channel Sokens on to make some tokens, but really? What are they playing that they like okay, like I feel like if I was our opponent, the correct decision there would have been to like it would have been just to like let me show them what I'm doing, right? Like, I guess they could infer that I'm a 4-color, at least an Omnath deck. Maybe they could infer I'm a Fires deck. Because seeing Yorion's played in, like, 2 decks in the format. Yorion is played in the blue-white control decks because it's just a blue-white, like, free thing to play. As well as you probably want to play more than 60 cards so that you can play a bunch of the stuff you want to play. Or and since they saw our mana base, they might have inferred that we're either a Fires deck, like, or just straight Omnath deck, either one. I think I'm gonna just bring in Fries and I'm actually gonna bring out 1 Fires. And the argument for that is that, I can wish for the Fires if I really, really have to. I'll bring out one Sky Noodle. One Omen. I think I'll bring out the Cavalier as well. Actually, I think let's leave take one Cavalier out. Yeah. One of the weaknesses of a deck like this, like we saw in the last two matches, like you don't have a lot of. One of the things is being an 80 card deck. In order to make sideboard slots effective, they're going to have to play. This is a weird and awkward hand. They're going to have to play 4 copies of cards versus where, like, you saw, like, the Jund deck, I had, like, 1 copy of stuff and 2 copies of stuff. Where here it's like, okay, they're on Naya, so this is Winota, and they just kept a shitty hand. Well, good on our opponent, but bad on everything else. It's an awkward hand. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That could be our doom. Just gonna go right on this bark channel pathway. Could have gone on that mountain, but, you know, that's exactly what I wanted to draw. So, ideally, our opponent doesn't have a third land, and they commit a 3-mana threat to the battlefield that is soft to Anger of the Gods, and then we win. The other side is that they play exactly a Winota, attack with that 2/2, and we lose. Miss. Big miss. Damn, we lose. Alright. That's probably the game. Right? I guess I can clean all this up, right? I do have a Shadow this guy. But I have to play... I'm dead. Actually, I'm just actually dead. Because if I shock taking 2 damage to play this, they have a 4/4 and a 6/6, and I'm conveniently at 10. So that very much kills me. Nice. And that's why that deck's good. But that does... Now I know what they're playing. So I'm actually going to bring in 2 copies of Grafdigger's Cage. So this is another card that I play. It's for not strictly this matchup, but this is very much a matchup where it is good. Cut one more Omen of the Sea. I'm going to cut one Fae of Wishes as well. So Grafdigger's Cage actually has a very unique interaction. A lot of people forgot about Grafdigger's Cage when they started jamming these Winota decks. But what you saw there with Winota's ability, when they attack with a non-human, they get to look at the top whatever cards of their deck to try and find a human to put into play tapped and attacking. But Grafdigger's Cage says creatures can't enter the battlefield from your library, or from players' libraries. Winota is putting the creature into play from their library, meaning if you do that, then your opponent's Winota doesn't do anything. Like, it's just a 4/4 with put the top 6 cards of your deck and onto the bottom of your library. Play our Urban Utopia. What? So here, if they go this into a 3-drop, that's actually good for us. Because now we're in a position where this taps for red, and we have a pain-free untapped land, which will kill everything. So we get to use this Anger of the Gods. Which, I see absolutely no reason not just to clean this battlefield up. Best case scenario here is they dump 2 cards that aren't lands and have no lands in their hand. And then we get to just hold up this Fry and play this Catchery of Triumph tapped. Actually, I don't even think I'll play the Triumph. I think I'll just play Pathway. Because then, if they don't do anything, I can just... Alright, well, you got it, brother. Take my Fry. Or take my Golos. Probably the Golos here. Yeah, that makes sense. That'll be good later. So here, if they have a Winota, not a huge deal. So this is human. Sure. Here, if they just pass, I'm gonna cycle. That's fine. Sure. Yeah, we're just gonna cycle the Triumph. No real incentive to do anything else. ahead and play face down as a forest. Just buy our Yorion. We're definitely, like, needing to, like, progress our position. Please attempt to copy that. Fizzle. Like, that was such a bad play. Like, that was, like, probably the worst thing they could have done. Whatever. I'm not gonna stress too hard on it. Play an Omnath. Gain 4 life. Pass the turn. I could be real mean and like just shatter one of these lands, but I don't want to risk them playing basic lands. Winota. That's pretty brutal, but sure. Come at me, brother. Oh, that's an enchantment. I should have done that. I made a mistake. Yeah, that's fine. I could have killed this. I forgot it was an enchantment creature. Alright. Do your worst. I do get to eat the Innkeeper. Sadly, I'm gonna have to take 6. They gain a bunch of life here, but I don't think that is gonna mean too much. Gross. Yeah, it's been particularly brutal. So we're gonna have to take 10 here. Yeah, I made a mistake. I should have taken more time to think about it and killed this. Because this Bousseiju can destroy enchantments, and this is an enchantment. I always forget when it's flipped over that it's not an enchantment. At least when I'm playing tabletop. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to take my medicine. Because, you know, it's even worse, is the chances are is they don't even have basic lands in their deck. Yeah, like, the fact that this is taking so long tells me they don't have any lands in their deck. Because if they did have any, they'd have 1. And, oh, I'm sorry, it grabs non-basic lands, too. I always forget. So let's think here. Can I live through this turn? That's the real question. So they got 2 Winota triggers. This blocks Winota. This blocks the 6/6. I take 7, go to 1. If this hits literally anything in the top 12 cards, I die. I could wish for a land. I'm going to wish. Not fantastic, but play a land. Play a 1/2. I'm going to play the 1/4. This lets me live through the turn. Probably not. Brutal. Oh, gross. Playing Kenrith. I think that's game. Yeah, I can't beat that. That is dunzo. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Yep. I mean, the Winota deck is good. I want to make that very clear. Though we did kind of, like, dunk on it, like, a couple of times tonight. It is still a very good deck, and it's a very respectable part of the metagame. Alright, so that was 6 matches we had to play with this one. Went 4-2. Not bad for a deck that was in, like, basically its first draft. Huh. What would I do differently? Is there anything I would do differently? I guess I'll start there. This feels good. This feels good. I like this, but I might trim a copy. I don't think we need 3. I think we just need 2. This is strong, but I don't think it's where we need to be. I think some of the times we've played, we had to like play our lands in such a way to make this work. It ended up being quite bad for us, like in the following turn. So I actually think we're gonna cut the growth spiral. So I'm a little sad about, but it, you know, just gonna have to. We gotta like. maximize how we get to play. I think anger is good, and I think building our mana base in such a way to support it, which Urban Utopia really helps with, is a smart place to be. Of course, this is the whole reason we're playing this deck, are these two cards. The Sphinx has felt... It's felt pretty medium. I think I'm gonna play I think I want to play the 4th Shatter in the main deck. I think I just want to be on... Like, all of this has felt strong. Figuring out this configuration is probably the next step here. So why don't we go mana value equals 4, right? Let's start there. And we'll also go text equals enters the battlefield. Oh, I can't do two things. Or is it, do I have to do a semicolon? No? Okay. Alright, we'll go text equals enters the battlefield. And we'll go 4. So I'm particularly curious about options. Like, the 4 mana spot is kind of a sweet spot. We could also look at 3 mana things, too. Because the best place to be is you have Fires of Invention. And you get to play a powerful 4 mana spell. Doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be 4 mana, as long as it's a powerful thing to follow it up. And so far, admittedly, Sphinx of Foresight has not felt like the most powerful thing to follow it up. Sadly. I want it to be, but it, you know, can only do so much. Yasharn's an interesting one. I could see playing Yasharn. A biggie. Well, we'll throw 2 copies in just to see what it's, It may not end up being there. Could play Solemn Simulacrum. That's an interesting one. Kind of a nombo with their Anger of the Gods. You know, Slippery Sock, if you're looking to get into Magic, or MTG Arena is free to play. You can download it for free. Which is what we're playing here, MTG Arena. As well as, if you're trying to just get into it brand new, on Thursdays now, my good friend and I, Drabby Noobs, we do what we call it a budget battle. So in the store, there's a $50 where you get 4 mythic wild cards and 12 rare wild cards. What that means is those can be redeemed for any mythic rare in the wild cards, and then rares, you can redeem a rare wild card for any copy. So basically, those decks cost $50, which is on the, like, if you compare it like to other things, it's, you know, in Magic, that's relatively cheap. So that's something that you could check out. We won't be doing one this Thursday. Drabby Noops is on vacation with his partner, but next week we'll be back at it. For actually, it's our 3rd season we're starting next week, and we'll be playing Explorer this season, and I think we're considering doing Standard the following season. I can't recall. I don't think it's on Xbox, but it is on mobile. You can also play it on your smartphone. I think Android and iOS. One thing we could do... Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it on iOS relative to, say, other options, but some people I've heard really like it. That's really good, especially if you're only playing, like, if you're playing more on the casual side. It works really well. I think I want to play some copies of Moonblessed Cleric. So, what this one does, this is actually one that's really good curving into your fires. So this one, it enters the battlefield, gets to search your library, that's your deck, for an enchantment card, and then you get to put that card on top. So this can actually go and find your Fires of Invention and put it on top. So that feels like definitely something I'm interested in having around. It also, if this is on top of your library, the other thing you can do, so there is another card called Idyllic Tutor. This one you can search your library for an enchantment card and put it in your hand, but it's deceptively. Now, in general, this is a better card. But what I will say is that in the context of the format that we're playing, this is worse than Moonblessed Cleric. Because this puts the card on top of our deck. You saw we played against a deck that played the card Thoughtseize. That gets to look at our hand and take a card out of it. If I play Idyllic Tutor, I have to. My opponent gets to know what I grab because it specifies a specific kind of card. So the way that would work if we were playing with the physical cards is I have to show them the physical card. So on MTG Arena, it simulates that by they get to see what's in my hand, the card that's in my hand that I searched. So like if they're playing a Thoughtseize deck, this is strictly worse. This puts it on top of my deck, meaning Thoughtseize can't grab it because it's in a place where Thoughtseize can't look and target. But this is also a 3-mana 3/2, meaning it can block. We can throw it under the bus to save ourselves some life. So it also does that against the aggressive deck. So I guess, in general, better card. If you're actually looking to compete in this format, this is a better card. But this is like if you're playing something with this format called Commander, which is a very casual tabletop format, where you play with physical cards. This is the card you would probably play first. Because it's just generally better. That is why it's been around for like 26 years. No, 20, gosh, 93? 93, yeah, so 29 years, 30 years next year. Yeah, it came out in 1993. So the game is older than I am. To put that, to kind of really give it perspective, yeah. And I've played it pretty much my entire life. I think I like Yasharn. Yasharn's really unique. It's a really good card. Matter of fact, it's really good against the Obnixilis deck we were playing. So Yasharn has a unique ability at the bottom of its text box there where it says players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. That doesn't sound very good. But, like, you look at that Obnixilis deck, and we had cards like Voltage Surge, Deadly Dispute, Obnixilis. They all sacrificed things to do more, or just to be, like Voltage Surge sacrifices an artifact to do more damage, and Deadly Dispute, you must sacrifice something to cast it. And Obnixilis' ability that makes the token requires you to sacrifice a creature. So when Yasharn's on the battlefield, none of that is on the table. So it's a very good card against those style of decks, as well as there's other kinds of sacrifice-based decks. So Yasharn can just kind of shut that shit down right away. So I think we'll play Yasharn. Yasharn also does another thing, where when it enters the battlefield, you can search your library for a basic plains, that's this, or a basic forest, meaning you can get up to 2 lands with it. Meaning we might even play another copy of a plains, just to guarantee this is hitting at least 1 to 2 cards every time we play it. I think the Sphinx is like, it's not amazing, but it being in our opening hand is still quite good. I like Kenrith. I do like Kenrith. It just feels like it's another Cavalier of Flames, where it can give all their stuff like the ability to attack right away, but like we can also take advantage of those other modes. I still like Golos, I think. Maybe we like Yorion? I think I want 1 less copy of Yorion. How many lands am I playing? 36? I can actually stand to play another land. Alright, I think I like this a lot. We have an ability with the way to now curve into our Fires of Invention. We're not going to draw as many Fae of Wishes, but we really only need 1 copy of this to ever take advantage of it. And as we saw, we never really actually need to do the Fae of Wishes thing. Our main deck, our main board, not our side. This grabs cards from our sideboard, but our main board is very capable of just winning games. I still think the 3 Grafdigger's Cage is right. I think 1 less Fry. I think we can just cut the negates. I don't even know where I'd want to play that. Imagine if I'm playing against... Negate is only good against other decks with counter spells, and I don't even think it's very good there. So we got 4 sideboard cards that we can look at. I think I want another way to destroy all creatures. Oh, I have it set to 3. That makes sense. So... I feel like it could be Time Wipe. It's Time Wipe or Fumigate. So, these both do unique things. So, Time Wipe lets us return a creature we control to our hand. So, like, say if we have Omnath on the battlefield, this can pick up our Omnath, and then it destroys all creatures. And then, if we play Fumigate, this just destroys all creatures, but we do gain a life for everything we destroyed this way. So I think there's an argument for both. But I don't think we play both. I think we play one or the other. My gut tells me that it's probably Time Wipe. Because there's also scenarios where you wish for the Time Wipe. You can play the Fae of Wishes as a creature, and then you get to cast the Time Wipe anyway, and it returns the Fae of Wishes, so you can then wish again. And by the way, I keep saying wish. That's a shorthand term for this style of effect, which grabs a card. It says from outside the game. In, like, regular Magic, that means your sideboard. That's your cards you own that are outside the game. At least in this context. That is correct. It would kill all of our creatures, too. But you gotta keep in mind, the decks that we want that against are decks that, like, will have more creatures than us. So if I kill one of my creatures, but I kill 6 of our opponents, yeah, I'm going down 2 cards, and chances are is my cards replaced themselves, meaning, like, Omnath and Yasharn kind of, they added more cards to my hand to begin with. So, like, what we call card advantage, I'm coming out ahead in that deal when I'm doing that, right? But, still, at the same time, obviously it's not ideal, but that's what makes Time Wipe so unique, and that it lets me, like, pick up a creature that I want to still have, and then destroy everything, and then replay that creature again. So there's arguments for, like, going, like, all the different directions. There's even an argument here for Cleansing Nova, which has the ability to destroy all artifacts and enchantments. What you would do with this one is, there's this clause on Fires of Invention. It says you can only... it's letting you cast things for free, but you can only do it twice a turn. But if you play this and, say, destroy all artifacts and enchantments, then you can cast another thing and use your lands to cast it. So there's ways you can sort of cheat mana, as it were. That's what makes Yorion so good, because when Yorion enters the battlefield, it exiles another... any number of other non-land cards I have on the battlefield of my choosing. So if you exile your Fires of Invention, all of a sudden you've gotten rid of the 2 spell clause again, and you can cast more spells. Matter of fact, that interaction changed the companion rule. So you see this rule on the screen. It says if your starting deck meets the companion's restriction, Yorion's is you have to be playing 80 cards, at least. You could pay 3 at any time you could cast a sorcery to put your chosen companion into your hand. It used to be you just cast the thing. So they actually had to add an extra step, because this 2-card combo was so broken in Standard that not only did they change the companion rule, eventually they just banned Fires of Invention, because it was way too good. What else could we be playing? I think another Buseiju wouldn't be bad. Buseiju is a very strong card. We're already playing 2 on our main deck, but I think having 2 on our sideboard is quite good. Yeah, it was a very dumb interaction. And believe it or not, it took people a little time to figure out how good these were together. It was not super obvious as it turned out, but it did end up being probably the end-all, be-all, best thing people could be playing. At least at that time in Standard. It even dipped into older formats. It was so broken. We can probably cut like an All-Runs Epiphany. What do I want to play in our side? Yeah, we had a big problem. Like Omnath here. Omnath was banned in Standard. Yeah, Omnath and Fires of Invent. That's why it's so crazy that these cards are legal still. Like, people actually expected them to be banned. People thought they were banned when they announced the format. But as it turns out, they're not banned. I think I want to play a Genesis Ultimatum in my sideboard. So what this one does... So this is something I'm putting in here specifically for Fae of Wishes. Is that if I have not a lot going on in my hand, I can granted, that's the spell, to grab Genesis Ultimatum, and then this can, like, go from I have nothing on the battlefield to I have a lot of stuff on the battlefield very quickly. And I think I could even go for Eerie Ultimatum. Yeah, I'll even put the Eerie Ultimatum in. This one kind of does a similar thing, except instead of, like, looking at my top cards in my deck, it puts different named permanents from my grave. So, like, if I killed all my creatures with, like, my destroy all creature effects, this can then put them all back into play, as long as I only can do one of each different name. But a lot of these are legendary anyway, so it don't matter. But that can also win the game if if the game is dragged out for a while. And then my last card, I think I only have one sideboard spot left. Yeah, I think we just play the 4th Fry and just stop, like, being cute about it. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do. These cards are pretty bad when you're not casting them for free, because they're mana, like, you look at that casting cost, that's actually a lot harder to do than it looks. Yeah, I like this. I think this will be the version we jam on Thursday. So this Thursday, it'll be me just playing more Explorer. No budget battle with Drabby Noops being on vacation. But I'm going to wrap it up there. That was the 3-hour mark for me, just about. It's about 10:30, and I have to work in the morning. So, I will be shutting it down for the night. Of course, I appreciate everybody checking out the channel. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that follow button if you want to stay up to date with my content. We are now dual streaming to both Twitch and YouTube. So if you haven't already, check out the YouTube channel. !YouTube in the chat to find that. We just started this week. We'll be doing a weekly video on the YouTube channel called Snapshot, where it's going to be me talking about my upcoming week, what I'm playing, where I'm playing it, if I'm traveling to go play, as well as you can check out our Twitter page by typing !Twitter in the chat, of course. Where that's when I'm playing physical in-person Magic events. I'll be posting not only what I'm playing there, I'll be talking about that in the Snapshot as well. I will then be giving live updates, round to round, as I'm playing. Like this month, I have upcoming a tournament in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'll be playing Team Trios. It's where you play on 3-person teams in a competitive REL environment. So I will be live tweeting updates every round, and hopefully we make it onto camera. I'm feeling pretty good. I have what feels like a very good team that asked me to join up with them. So I'm really, really excited to be playing. That'll be a lot of fun, I think. But that's going to be it for us tonight. And then, of course, I'll help you. I'll put this in the chat for us. You can follow us on Twitter using that link as well. Well, thanks, Slippery Sock. Thank you for checking it out. Yeah, you can check us out both on YouTube and Twitch for the live, as well as I'll have the VOD from both on So if you ever miss the stream and you want to check it out, feel free to hit that, and always hit the like button when you can. And then, of course, if you want to stay, like I said, up to date with my tabletop Magic content, you can follow us on Twitter. I'll be talking about everything on Sunday when I post the Snapshot. This week's Snapshot had some audio issues, so it's doesn't sound the greatest. Well, next week should be better. I think we solved that problem. But we'll be posting live updates on the Twitter feed as well. So again, appreciate you all for watching. We will see you again soon.